Hello, book lovers. I'm Peg, the book prize addict, with another reading plan that I want to talk about that I'm going to be doing for the next weeks or months. The Booker list will be coming out, the long list for the actual fiction on July 26th. And I had so much fun reading the whole list on the Women's Prize that I decided it would be fun to do it with the Booker Prize. But there's not time to read it because it's somewhere in early August they will have the shortlist announcement, and it's of course no fun to read all the long list after the shortlist is out. So I've decided on a project to try to read some Booker eligible books, as many as I can, before it comes out, before the long list comes out. Then maybe I won't have so many to read. Anyway, there are quite a few lists out there of books that are eligible. There's a really good one on Goodreads that has over 100 books on it. It's on Listopia. I haven't figured out how to give a link to it, but it is on there, and it's got a lot of really good ones. The main things you need to remember if you're selecting your own books to read for the Booker Prize is the simple rule that it has to be written in English, not translated by anybody, anybody in the world at this point. And it has to be published in England between October 1st of last year, 2021, to September 30th or whatever it is, the last day of the month in 2022. And this leaves out a lot of books that were published just last year. If it was before October 1st. So that's one thing I sort of messed up on one of my books and didn't realize that, but I'm going to talk about it anyway. But I hope you'll read along or let me know some ones you like. I went to the library with my list. I have a great library, and checked out a huge amount of books, plus put some on hold that are eligible. So I'm going to go through as many as I can and talk about them and get to know them, see if I want to read more of them or whatever. So I've got a couple for you here today to start off. The first one is Anthem by Noah Hawley. This is a very timely book, you might say. It actually takes place in the not too far off future, and there's the usual problems with the environment, etc. But what it reminds me of today is they're having a huge bunch of teenage suicides, which I think are plenty today, but we worried about a huge bunch of shootings right now. Anyway, but it starts out, it's kind of written like it was a official newspaper form or something to start our out with. It starts with a plural, first person. We did this, we thought this, we saw that, and talks a lot about the statistics of the kids that are, committing suicide. And then we center in onto a particular young man, Simon, who's 15 years old, and his father owns the drug company that puts out all the opioids that we understand now have been so dangerous. And I don't want to tell too much about this at all. He has a personal experience in his own life that's really traumatic, really upsetting. The young boy does, 15 years old. And so he goes to this place, I guess a kind of a rehab place for called what did they call it? Float Anxiety Abatement Center. And he meets some real characters there. And then it becomes an interesting character study of people that are there and the problems they have. And as I said, I'm not going to tell you too much more, but it certainly is timely. Anyway, another one that I've already finished is called The Colony, and by Audrey McGee. And it has gotten very good reviews, just about every place. It deals with this, well, it's going to take place with this island off the coast of Ireland where it's hard to get to. You have to go by boat. And the same families have lived there for years and years and have a lot of stories, etc. And there's a man who's an artist, older man, who decides he wants to go there for the summer and paint the cliffs that are on this island. For some reason, he decides he wants to do it the hardest way to get there. So rather than going on the passenger boat, where it's easy, he hires this guy with a little small boat and to paddle him across. I mean, that's quite a scene in that little boat, and it's the guy that owns it's not even going to sure it's going to make it. I almost got seasick myself. Anyway, so we start out with that scene, and when he gets there, people are like, who is he? And, they don't really take to outsiders. However, there is another outsider there, a French man who has come quite a few summers in a row. They're used to him, who is trying to keep the original language that is spoken there on that island. I'm not familiar with the names of them, but he does not want anybody speaking English, so he's not happy about this artist coming because, of course, all he does is speak English. And you get into quite a little story of the characters that live there on this island, and the two non-islanders, one's a Frenchman, one's an Englishman. And throughout the summer, all the things that go on, also very good. Okay, there's one more that I am reading and loving, but it's not eligible. But I just want to say Mrs. England by Stacey Halls is a great kind of gothic. A woman goes to a place out in the country to be a governess, and spooky things happen, and it's really well done. Now, it's not eligible for the Booker because it was written before published before October 1st of last year in England, but it's still good, so I thought I'd tell you about it. Okay, I've got piles and piles of books down here, of books that are eligible from the library. Hopefully they'll let me renew some of them, but I'm going to try to be back and read different ones and let you know what's on the list. So happy reading. Let me know if you're reading any Booker eligibles yourself. Bye.